In this section, we are going to start Chapter 12, Plant Anatomy and Plant Physiology for Class 10. We are going to study the internal structure of the dicot as well as the monocot root in detail. Now let's get started. The first internal structure is dicot root. The example I have taken is bean. Now this is the structure of the root. Dicot root will be having the main root called primary root, and on the lateral side you will be having roots, and these roots are called as secondary roots. The root which is in the center is called as primary root, and the roots that are found towards the lateral side, that is on the either side of the primary root, is called as secondary root. They also will be having tertiary roots, and here you will be having root hairs. Now if I cut the root in transverse section, and if I am keeping this in the microscope, I will be able to see this section enlarged. Let us understand the section enlarged in detail. Now the outermost layer of the root is called as rhizodermis. So this layer is called as rhizodermis. It is otherwise called as pyliferous layer. It can be also called as epiblema. The outermost layer of the root is called as rhizodermis. It is otherwise called as pyliferous layer or epiblema. It is usually single layer made up of parenchymatous cell. The dicot root and monocot root rhizodermis will not be having cuticle and stomata. Since cuticle and stomata is not necessary because the root is found under the ground, you will be able to see an epidermal outgrowth. This is nothing but the root hairs. Usually the root hairs will be unicellular in dicot and monocot root. The function of the root hair is to absorb water and minerals from the soil to all the other parts of the plant body. Now the function of the rhizodermis is to protect the underlying tissues. That's all about the rhizodermis. The next layer, the blue color layer which I have drawn, is called as cortex. Now cortex is usually many layered, or we can call it as multi-layered. The shape of the cortex will be generally spherical, or it will be oval in shape. Sometimes it is polygonal because of the mutual pressure. Now you will be able to see uniform intercellular spaces for gaseous exchange. And cortex is made up of only parenchymatous cell. So we can call these multi-layered structures is homogeneous in nature. That means all the cells of the cortex is made up of only parenchymatous cell, and the function of parenchyma is to store food material. They will store starch, tannin, resins, etc. Now the innermost layer of the cortex is called as endodermis. So this layer is called as endodermis. Endodermis is the innermost layer of the cortex. But the shape of the endodermis is totally different from the shape of the cortex. As we know, cortex is spherical or oval, but endodermis is barrel shaped. So it will be like this. Each cell will be barrel shaped. It is only single layer made up of compactly arranged parenchymatous cell without any intercellular spaces. The special things about endodermis is the radial. Now this is the radial wall, and this is called as the tangential wall. The radial and the inner tangential wall of the endodermis is made up of a chemical called suberin. So the radial and the inner tangential wall of the endodermis is made up of a chemical called suberin. Now this was first noticed by a scientist, Kasperi. So these layers is otherwise called as Kasperian strip. Now the function of the Casparian strip. Casparian strip will not allow water to enter into these cells. They are generally hydrophobic. That means they will not allow water to pass into these cells. If water is not able to pass through these cells, then how xylem will conduct the water? Now the blue color cells which I have drawn is the xylem. You will be able to see a small xylem towards the periphery and the bigger xylem towards the center. So the smaller xylem is called as protoxylem. So the xylem which is found towards the periphery is called as protoxylem. And the xylem that is seen towards the center is called as metaxylem. Now protoxylem is the earlier or first formed xylem which will be smaller in size. Metaxylem is later formed xylem which will be usually bigger in size. Now the endodermal cells, these black color single layer without any intercellular spaces is called as endodermis, which is the innermost layer of the cortex. Now as I told you, the radial and the inner tangential wall of the endodermis is made up of Casparian strip which will not allow water to pass into it. Now the endodermal cells which are opposite to the protoxylem point. So this endodermis, this one and this one. Here alone the Casparian strip is devoid. So Casparian strip is devoid or it is absent in these four endodermal cells which are opposite to the protoxylem. So these endodermal cells without Casparian strip are called as passage cells. So why it is called as passage cells? Because it will allow water and other minerals to pass into the xylem. So that is why it is called as Casparian strip. Now any tissue that is found inner to the endodermis is called as stele. So all the tissues that is found inner to the endodermis is generally called as stele. Stele consists of pericycle, vascular bundles. And if pith is present, we should include pith also. And the tissues that separate xylem, that is the blue color cells, and the green color cell is called as phloem. The tissues that separate xylem and phloem are called as conjunctive tissue. So all the tissues that are found inner to the endodermis is called as stele. So stele consists of pericycle, vascular bundle. If pith is there, you should include pith, otherwise we can leave it. And all this conjunctive tissue also we should include. Conjunctive tissue. Let us understand this stele one by one. Now the immediate layer which is next to the endodermis is known as pericycle. Now this layer is called as pericycle. The red color layer, single layer, is called as pericycle. Pericycle is usually only one layer compactly arranged parenchymatous cell. Pericycle is very important because lateral roots originate from pericycle. Now what is the meaning for lateral roots originate from pericycle? As I told you before, this is the structure of the dicot root. We will be having a main root that is called as primary root, and these are all the secondary roots. So these secondary roots are not superficially attached to the primary roots, but they are coming from the pericycle. Now look at this pericycle. Now the first layer is rhizodermis. You have got many layers of cortex, then one layer of endodermis, afterwards is your pericycle. So it is coming from, from this layer only the lateral roots are arising. The lateral roots are not superficially attached to the main root, but they are endogenous in origin, that is coming from within, inside the tissues the lateral roots are originated. So pericycle is very important because lateral roots originate from pericycle, which is an important point. Now the next one is the vascular bundle. Vascular bundle means we are referring to xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem are generally called as vascular bundles. Now here the arrangement of xylem and phloem is called as radial arrangement. So the arrangement of xylem and phloem is radial arrangement. Now what is the meaning for radial arrangement? Now you will be able to see that xylem, the blue color cells, phloem, that is the green color cell. These cells are called as phloem. The xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, they are arranged in an alternate radii. When the xylem and phloem are arranged in an alternate radii, we have to call it as radial arrangement. Now the xylem and the phloem are 4, that is it is exarch and tetrarch. Now what is the meaning for exarch and tetrarch? The xylem, when you see the protoxylem, as I already told you, protoxylem is the earlier formed xylem which will be usually smaller in size, will be found towards the periphery. All the protoxylem is found towards the periphery and the metaxylem is facing towards the center, which is the bigger xylem. So such an arrangement is called as exarch. That is, when the protoxylem is towards the periphery and the metaxylem is towards the center, then that condition is called as exarch. Then what is tetrarch? As you know, tetra means 4. You will be able to see 4 xylem and 4 phloem. So it is called as tetrarch condition. And now the tissue that separates the xylem and phloem are called as conjunctive tissue. Conjunctive tissue. So what are called as conjunctive tissue? The tissue that separates xylem and phloem. You will be able to see this black color layer which separates this green color cells and blue color cells. These are called as conjunctive tissues. So I am writing here, this is called as conjunctive tissue. So here the conjunctive tissue in the dicot root is made up of parenchyma. The conjunctive tissue is made up of parenchyma. So that's all about the internal structure of the dicot root. Here I have also drawn the structure of the monocot root. Both dicot root and monocot root are more or less similar except for the vascular bundles. Now when you see the outermost layer of the monocot root, the example that we have taken for monocot root is maize. The outermost layer of the monocot root is also called as rhizodermis, pyliferous layer or epiblema. And they also have many layered or multi-layered cortex made up of only parenchymatous cell, which is also the same whatever we saw in dicot root. The functions, whatever the information that we have studied in dicot root is for the monocot root. Now endodermis is also single layer. The innermost layer of the cortex is called as endodermis, single layer, barrel shape. They also have Casparian strip. Now any tissue that is found inner to the endodermis is called as stele. Now what a stele includes, the first layer is pericycle, then xylem and phloem. Now here in monocot root, they will not be having any secondary growth. Now suppose if I am uprooting a grass or rice or wheat plant, I will be able to see a cluster of hair-like structure coming from one point. So this is called as fibrous root system. They will not have any lateral root growth. So they will not be having any lateral roots. So here the pericycle is single layer made up of parenchymatous cell. Here we should not write lateral roots originate from pericycle, because only in dicot root lateral root is possible, but in monocot root lateral roots are absent. Now inner to the pericycle we have got vascular bundle. So here the difference starts here. Now we have studied the vascular bundle is radial arrangement in dicot root. In monocot root also it is the same, radial arrangement. What is the meaning for radial arrangement? When the xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, when they are arranged in an alternate radii, then it is called as radial arrangement. Now here we studied in dicot root exarch and tetrarch. Here also the same. Instead of tetrarch we have to write here polyarch condition. Now as I told you, what is the meaning for exarch? When the protoxylem, that is smaller xylem, is facing towards the periphery and the bigger xylem, metaxylem, is facing towards the center, then that type of xylem is called as exarch condition. And what is the meaning of polyarch? Here you saw there are 4 xylem points and 4 phloem points, but here you will be able to see many xylem and many phloem. So such a condition is called as polyarch condition. Now the conjunctive tissue, what are called as conjunctive tissue? The tissue that separates xylem and phloem is called as conjunctive tissues. Here in monocot root the conjunctive tissue is made up of sclerenchyma. So this tissue that separates xylem and phloem is called as conjunctive tissue. In dicot root it is made up of parenchyma, whereas in monocot root it is made up of sclerenchyma. And one more important point, here in the center you are able to see a group of cells that is called as pith, or it is otherwise called as medulla. So the central parenchymatous cell that is found in the monocot root is called as pith or medulla, whereas pith is absent in the dicot root. When the dicot root is young, we will be able to see the pith or medulla, but as the dicot root matures, we will not be able to see the pith. So pith is definitely found in the monocot root, but it is absent in the dicot root. Now, what are called the stele here? Any tissue that separates xylem and phloem, all the tissue that is found inner to the endodermis is called the stele. It consists of pericycle, vascular bundle and pith. There we have not included pith, but here in monocot root, pith also should be included. So, in this class, we have understood the internal structure of the dicot root and the monocot root. Thank you.